yeah, this is really, really funny. Briahna says something completely rational and accurate on Twitter, and the fools over at the Jimmy Dore Show, who are filling in for Jimmy, who's been uh, absent from his own show for some weeks now.
Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah, they're gonna have a hissy fit again when confronted with just like literal facts. I don't even see how what
Facts
Brianna's
don't
saying.
care about your feelings, snowflake.
Yeah, I don't even understand how what she's saying is controversial here. But anyway, let's take a look at this. I thought this was pretty unhinged.
Again, Rage Against the War Machine. And I said this too. I said, listen, I had a speaking spot, right? I would have stepped aside if a Jamu came over there. If he wanted to speak, I would have stepped aside. I would have stepped aside for anybody in their coalition to come and speak. So here's Briahna Joy Gray. I asked Marjorie Taylor Greene on Rising whether she supported cuts to the military budget. She said, no, I don't want to cut the military spending.
Briahna, who cares? I really like Briahna. Briahna, who gives a shit? They have to stop now. Who gives a shit what she believes?
Let it be known this is the exact same reaction that they would have if any member of the squad said they didn't want to cut military spending. They would be, who cares? What are you talking about? Who cares? That's irrelevant. You've got to stop freaking out about this. Okay, just to be clear, right? Like, also just look at this guy. Look at this guy. He reminds me so much of, have you guys ever seen the movie Spy Kids? You know how for some fucking weird reason, everybody that was like like an Oompa Loompa in Spy Kids just look like a thumb? That's what this guy really looks like. He looks like a thumb. But anyway, that's neither here nor there, Mr. Thumb Man. Thumb Metzger.
It's what do they do? Stop being a millennial.
Oh man, stop being a millennial. He gave away the bag, guys. This is how you know that everybody that watches your show does so from a nursing home, hooked up to a little bit of oxygen, smoking a pack of Pall Malls. That's the demographic of the Jimmy Dore Show. Oh, what are you, just a whiny millennial? Like, oh my gosh, imagine playing so hard to your just deranged fucking geriatric base.
Also, go back to the beginning of this video real quick. If you actually read Brianna's tweet, she says, I asked Marjorie Taylor Greene on Rising whether she supported cuts to the military budget. She said, no, I don't want to cut military spending. Marjorie Taylor Greene is not an anti-war politician. She's singularly anti-Ukraine. There may be narrow opportunities to work together, but we should be honest about what she believes. So literally, Briahna in that tweet is expressing what they want her to express. That, yeah, regardless of the fact that she is not an anti-war politician and that we should be honest about that, we still could potentially work with her on narrow opportunities such as this one. So she's literally bringing that, nuance or maturity or whatever you want to call it, that they're, berating her for not having. Like, they're acting like this tweet is just like fuck everyone who wants to work with Marjorie Taylor Greene on this issue. But in reality, it's not. She's saying, no, we can work with her on this if we must, but let's just not be dishonest about who she is. So they're getting mad at her before even finishing the tweet, when she goes on to say what they basically want her to say.
100%.
The War Machine. And she said, no, I don't want to cut the military spending.
Briahna, who cares? I really like Briahna. Briahna, who gives a shit? They have to stop now. Who gives a shit what she believes? It's what do they do? Stop being a millennial.
Thank you, Kurt. Marjorie Taylor Greene is not anti-war, is not an anti-war politician. This is right after it happened.
I don't care.
But why? I mean, and why is the point? Why do you have to say this stuff? Why do you have to lead with this shit?
Optics. They all think in.
And again, I will remind you guys that everyone in this camp, kind of the Jimmy Dore camp, what was their reaction when Joe Biden joined the picket line in solidarity with the striking UAW workers? It was to point out every anti-union thing Joe Biden has ever done and say that because of that, him standing with the workers didn't matter, and that it was just a photo op, and that it was just all, a ruse, and that anyone that fell for it was just falling for the sheep herders. But now when a far-right Christian nationalist fascist virtue signals and panders to your specific pet issue, now we're supposed to give her all the credit in the world and completely overlook everything she's ever said, which is contrary to her current supposedly anti-war position. Now that's all irrelevant. But if it's a Democrat or a progressive, then that's all that's relevant. Like, this is where they give away the game. Because as you said, Zach, if people in the squad, if progressives or Bernie Sanders, when they, have a correct statement or a correct position on an issue, they're just, sheep herders, they're faux populists. it's not actually real. But when it's a Republican or a right winger, we have to give them credit, or else we're not serious activists.
And he was also just talking about having her speak at an anti-war rally and then screaming about why it doesn't matter that she's not actually anti-war. I mean, this is just brain dead logic, people. I mean, you are just feeding porridge to people without teeth at this point. I mean, just bird feeding them. Like, it's ridiculous. But anyway, and also you can see he has to overperform, right? He's basically doing like telenovela politics here. He has to like shriek and throw his hands around and stomp and clap because that's literally what he's doing, guys. He has a bunch of people who are like in the 50 plus demographic that are sitting and watching this show, you know, and what do they want? They want to have their belief systems reinforced by somebody who's like crazy. Imagine knowing people and being like really close to people who actually have legitimate comedy careers, people who have like talent and a POV, and an ability to be successful, and then coming out here and basically just doing like telenovela style politics for just like the fucking retirement home. That's what this guy does. That's got to do a number on your psyche, and for that I do feel for Kurt Metzger. You know, no wonder all his hair fell out.
Goddamn optics. They don't think in actually getting a goddamn thing done. How does this look to the thing that when they, how's your brand and how's it look? They're just programmed that way, all of them.
I think this guy actually has an allergy to telling jokes because he's never said anything funny in all the times that we've reacted to him. I think that honestly might be part of his tragedy, right? It's like a guy gets back from Afghanistan, no arms or legs, but he wants to like star in the Over the Top remake. It's like, brother, you can't arm wrestle. You don't have any arms. You know. Anyway.
Why are you getting so excited? I love it.
Because this is so.
I love it.
This is so dumb.
I love it when Kurt
I like her better than.
I do like
like,
Brie because Brie, once again, this is there's the good Brie and the bad Brie. This is the bad Brie. She is singularly anti-Ukraine. There may be narrow opportunities to work together, but we should be clear about what she believes. There, and this is the term here.
Watch him say that out of his mouth, and he'll be like, "Okay, so how do I make it sound bad that she said we should be clear about what she believes? Why should we be clear about what this woman believes, huh? Why should we lead with the actual truth? Wait, he's working on it. He's buying time. He's spinning the old hamster wheel up there.
Narrow opportunities.
See, he went with just explaining what she said and repeating it to himself. He's trying so hard to figure out a way to disagree with this because what she said, see, and now he's got to go back to Twitter. His guy's got nothing. So he says, here we go.
And I put down, it might be a narrow opportunity, but it's a humongous issue.
So let's never work with her again.
Yeah.
Let's do it one time to not die in World War III.
To end the Ukraine war.
And then afterwards, let's go, hey, we hate you, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah.
Now that we're going to live.
But get that first thing done, correct?
But let's not have a World War III because you interviewed.
So this is their new line, is that Marjorie Taylor Greene is singularly standing between us and World War III. Again, you have to have a brain-dead audience of extremely vulnerable, I think, elderly people who fucking finally discovered the internet. I guarantee you that's Jimmy's base.
I mean, is everyone... this is a dumb country, dude.
So here it says, it might be a narrow opportunity, but it's a humongous issue.
He repeats himself
and
again.
When parties with opposing views can come together to obtain a common goal, such as defunding a bloody war, such as the Ukraine war, it is a win-win situation.
Guys, this is embarrassing because he just like put a more like fucking tank. He like spit it. He was like, let me put in the tanky take generator and just say exactly what Briahna Joy Gray said, but like for my fucking delusional tanky audience. That's exactly what he did here. She said we should work for her in narrow places where we agree. Oh, that's literally what she said, you fucking dolt. Completely ridiculous.
You should be highlighting this moment rather than distracting the public with possible future
discrepancies by telling the public a direct quote from a very recent exchange you had with a sitting congressional candidate about their views on U.S. foreign policy. Yeah, that's irrelevant. But are you fucking... This is brain dead shit.
And now you know why we got to build the wall before we take the bases down also. I don't know why I have to jump.
Yeah, that one didn't land either. He's the only person that's ever thought he was funny. I genuinely believe that.
Even Craig fucking hates him. You can tell. You can tell that Pasta fucking hates Kurt Metzger if you watch any of their segments together, which is pretty funny. But yeah, just completely embarrassing shit. And again, when it comes to Democrats, when it comes to progressives, that is 100% these people's logic. Every time they say anything that's nominally pro-union or anti-war, they have to pull up every single receipt of every other contrary fact or statement or part of someone's record that says otherwise. And that's fine. We should do that. It's important to understand politicians' actual record and what they actually stand for, so that you don't get duped into their kind of like faux populist wave riding when it comes to issues like Ukraine. Because if all you paid attention to was Marjorie Taylor Greene's commentary on Ukraine, you might genuinely think that she was anti-war. But then you listen to the interview that Briahna referenced, and you find out that she actually doesn't support cutting a single dollar from the military budget. She just doesn't want any of it going to Ukraine. So she's perfectly okay with all of our imperial projects or in Africa and the Middle East and South America. She's totally okay with the drone war. She's totally okay with everything else. She's just singularly against the funding of Ukraine, probably because she listens to a bunch of Tucker Carlson and is, her brain is full of fucking Putin propaganda, not because she actually has like a principled, opposition to the US being the world police or anything like that. It's not a principled stand. And that's why it's important to say that, if it comes down to a vote, obviously, we might be able to work with her and use her vote if it came to that. But no, she's not going to be an ally going forward in the anti-war movement. If there's a Republican president who starts a war with Iran or some shit, like, say fucking Ron DeSantis becomes president and we go to war with Iran, I don't think we can count on Marjorie Taylor Greene to be there, at the front lines of the anti-war protest. You know what I mean? Like, this is obvious shit. And it's important to understand the context of her previous statements and previous opinions so that we don't fall for her faux populist bullshit.